What's up, guys? It's Richie Rich back yet again, and in this vid, I'm gonna give my thoughts on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation. Be sure to check this out. All right, so the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, if you want to call it like a series of misfortune, or like, I still call it like, JD's probably greatest mistake, ever. But he luckily escaped, what I mean? Just as Richie Rich escaped. But yeah, no, what this is about is, quick like summary, Johnny Depp end up being like sued, and he basically basically was nearly gonna get put in that hashtag Me Too situation, which has happened to pretty much every high profile male celebrity, from like a Bill Cosby to Kevin Spacey to Harvey Weinstein. I hope I'm saying that right. And not too long ago, R. Kelly. But where Johnny Depp's situations was different from them three is his one didn't really involve like kind of like sexual misconduct or harassment. It was basically told by Amber Heard that whilst they were in a relationship, because Johnny Depp was with Amber Heard for 2 years, count them two. This was from I believe it was 2015 to 2017. So they were there for a couple of years. They actually met. I believe they met just while Johnny Depp was filming The Rum Diary, which was basically a tribute to one of the greatest, like, candid, like, writers, Hunter S. Thompson, who big was a big friend of Johnny Depp, and they worked together in Fair Love in Las Vegas, the cult classic in 1998. So Amber Heard stars basically as the lead in Rum Diary, which is a novel from which is one of the many books that Hunter S. Thompson wrote, and Johnny Depp has a friend to Hunter S. Thompson, adapted it to a live action film, featuring Amber Heard. So like, at this time, Johnny Depp, he had separated from the woman that I think everyone loved, and was basically the best suitable partner for Johnny Depp, was Vanessa Paradis, the French singer, who he has two lovely children with, So they had split up, but it wasn't like kind of like, oh, I will never see you again, I hate you, and now it's just that like that time of love had gone, what I mean? They just quietly went their separate ways, what I mean? If you see the way Johnny Depp talks about Vanessa, he still loves her. It's just that they're not in a they're not in an area that they can be together. I mean, people grow apart, and that's what happens. They were there together for about almost a decade. I mean? And you didn't hear not one thing with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Sorry, Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis. Like Depp did this and did that. You know, and then you fast forward into Johnny Depp getting with Amber Heard, who I call a fast girl. If you want me to break it down, what a fast girl is in this like social media insta verse we now live in. Fast girls are typically ones who want to get the attention, to get like a man that's like a Johnny Depp, the like, what is it, two-time sexiest man alive, Hollywood's leading actor. Get a guy like him and basically use them to sponsor them. This is a Syrian African term. So it's like, the level Depp is A-list. Was like he's still up there with number one like Hollywood film actors, legendary actor. For someone like Amber Heard to be with him, it just puts her up there, So maybe like Hollywood would start looking at her differently, like, oh, Johnny Depp's it, but who's this woman she's with? I don't even think she may have even got that Aquaman film if she wasn't, holding on to Johnny Depp and that. But yeah, it's like fast girls are more of ones who just want to get with these big guys, because you know what it is now, especially now in this age, is easy money has become very, very tasteful to these women now, with the power of like that's what I'm saying, which the negative side of social media is like now, like any woman who looks like Amber Heard, because in my opinion, like Amber Heard's not really what I look for in a woman. It's completely opposite. But to Deb must have seen her as the most beautiful woman in the world. When you're getting girls like this who basically are deemed like a 10 out of 10, stunner, you know, they've got like these options because a lot of guys are very thirsty. They'll like their photos. They'll try to message them. I've even heard stories of people in Dubai like flying girls who basically look like Amber Heard to basically like consummate with them, become like a mistress to them. As crazy as it sounds, I used to work in the I still do work in fitness industry, and I was a personal trainer, and I spoke to guys who basically told me they did this. They showed me pictures of their girls, and I'd be like, wow, she's gorgeous, and he said like, how much he has to wine and dine her, like this woman comes with a big paycheck, and this is basically like what, Amber Heard is. Like with Amber Heard, it's like if I go back to thing like let me talk more about Johnny Depp, like Johnny Depp for me it's always been my number one favorite actor, like he was the one I really identified with when I started watching like when I really started to study film in university, like media and like how movies and like method acting, character actors, Johnny Depp is definitely my favorite. Fan of Jack Nicholson, of course, and obviously Denzel Washington. You know, I think like Jack Nicholson and Denzel Washington are better versions of like what a leading man should be. What I mean, like the traditional leading man character. But I always appreciate Johnny Depp because he has this look of, his face basically is like probably the most perfect face ever, you know and he takes a chance to basically not be seen as like the leading handsome beauty guy. He wants to like take a chance, like being in these positions is seen as a freak, or like these like iconic learners like Edward Scissorhand, the Mad Hatter, when he played, Captain Jack Sparrow, which is became his biggest roles. He played characters that no one else would even dare to do. Like you would never see like Brad Pitt doing these roles or George Clooney doing these roles because he probably would hurt his career. I couldn't even imagine if George Clooney attempted to play like any of Johnny Depp's characters like Tonto or like Jack Sparrow. It just wouldn't work. But I think Johnny Depp, because he started doing that like at such a young age, because Edward Scissorhands came out in 1990, yeah, just around my favorite era, yeah, just around the night, just after the year after Batman. So he was doing it at an early stage where it could have been make or break. But luckily, when he did Edward Scissorhands, it was well received, and he had a great director behind him, to put this film into action. So yeah, as like a big fan of like I'm a Depp head. I was a big fan of Depp. I've always been keeping tabs and following him. I always used to watch like his late night television appearances on David Letterman. All the press conferences he had, because it was like possibly like what we are in 2019, about last decade. So like probably from 2003 to '09, like Depp was pretty much the, if he wasn't the number one guy in Hollywood, he was probably the close second. Like he became so big after that first Pirates film. Like that made him the man. He got them film hits like Public Enemies. The man, Alice in Wonderland. The Pirate sequels and that. And Jack Sparrow became this like as cool as dope as Han Solo was in the Star Wars. He became that guy, like the new trademark super duper character, that was gonna appeal to this generation. I felt it when he even separated from Vanessa Paradis. I was like, these two were a match made in heaven. how can he split up with her? Then when you found out, like the second Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis separated, Amber Heard just walked in. She walked up, Goldilocks blonde hair, into Captain Jack Sparrow's life, and I was like, even when I saw it from the beginning, I was like, this doesn't look like it's gonna be a good it doesn't look like it's gonna be any doesn't look like any good is gonna come out of this, and I was right. So like with Amber Heard, she's one of those girls, again, I don't know her obviously personally, but I've met a few, like I say, felines exactly like her, who basically, they see everything that's good on the front label, but once they actually get inside and they see kind of who the person really is, they kind of want to, not stay there for long, girls kind of like Amber Heard, who like basically want the attention, want to get obviously the paycheck, because that's what they're really ends, going for the gold, but we don't go for the gold digger, you know. She walks in, thinks like, well, if Johnny Depp loves me so much, he can do all of this, And the situation is with these fast girls nowadays, in this general, like Amber Heard, like Keeping Up with the Crazies, because of social media, and it affects pretty much the average brain cell, guys who are like Niagara Falls thirsty will go extra hard to get a girl that looks like this, So girls like that they basically think they have options, Even if one of these like fast girls, really likes this guy, saying like, oh, he's so attractive, I want to be with this dude. The second like they actually hook up and get together, they will easily be, how can I say, like, well, I've already got this guy, but I'm checking my phone now and I've got like 50,000 likes for this bikini shot that I did in like Cancun or something, you know what I mean? So it already kind of whoops their brain, like, well, if this guy's not appreciating me, let me try get everything I can from this and leave, And I guarantee you that's what Amber Heard was trying to do to JD, because she went on to do this kind of thing of, it's very easy, because I had this situation, basically what is going, because, and the funny thing is, I'm going to talk about this, that time when Depp was going through that kind of, episode with Amber Heard, so when she was like, they went through divorce proceedings, then she went out to kind of say like, well, Johnny Depp, it was like he started beating her, like he was like attacking her and like assaulting her, and she went as far to basically, sue him for like X amount of money, and it's one of those things like, she it was complete false, like 100%. Johnny Depp denied it from the beginning, because even if you went back, even the woman he was with before, like Kate Moss, his first wife, I think it was Laurie Allison, Winona Ryder, Vanessa Paradis. The second Amber Heard put these claims up, they all came up to back Johnny Depp. They said that Johnny Depp does have a temper and he has his anger moments, but the last thing he would ever do is hit a woman. That's a line he would not cross. So imagine all of those women Johnny Depp was with for longer times. He was longer enough. He was with Kate Moss for 4 years, Vanessa Paradis for 10 years, Winona Ryder for about five. I think it was about 5 years. Amber Heard was only with 2 years. You know, so for her just to put these slanderous claims just out of nowhere is just BS. But I know the reason why. It just came to a point that Johnny Depp obviously was madly in love with her. I think he even tattooed her kind of like facial, like on his arm, and the last tattoo he got was Winona Ryder. So Johnny Depp is someone who falls in love easily. Once the woman, like a fast girl, like an Amber Heard, stop fine, the feelings are not there, she loves him, but she's like, well, he obviously loves me more, so if he's always going to be there, I can now, these like 50,000 guys who are liking my pics, I can probably get in contact with them, it's all an attention thing, you know what I mean? So like once that kind of happened, when Amber Heard was like, oh, I can get one of these other guys, not thinking of a long-term relationship, that's when she wanted to find ways to get out of it, saying like, oh, Johnny Depp gets drunk, he beats me, he's no good for me, making her seem like the victim, and yes, I will bring this up. Yeah, so like where this, like I said, this kind of, when Johnny Depp was getting like put under the bus, this was the exact same year I was with the Village Girl, you know, and I can really identify and understand what Johnny Depp is going through, what I mean? Because the Village Girl, what she would do so much is she would try to kind of make it is similar to an Amber Heard thing, try to make her look like the victim, even though she knows she's wrong. It's that whole thing of like, especially in this era, once you put two of them in a court, court of law, and you say like, okay, tell the truth. The girl knows it's power that she can lie and bend the truth, and everyone would believe her. There's been so many. I even watched what was it? Plenty of various interviews of girls just falsely accusing guys, and they've been like locked up. You know what I mean? Locked up, thrown away the key, just like fake BS, stone cold lies. It was one time I watched one of the guys, a comedian. He said he actually went back to he actually had a relationship with one of the women's, left the country, and the woman was calling, basically accusing him of rape. So he actually flew back and got the woman arrested. And I think that's some of the situations some guys don't do today. You know what I mean? They always think of like these kind of fast girl women are like, oh, they're gentle. How can I do that? I need to be a gentleman. You gotta understand, most of these ones are out to get you. Like I said, the Village Girl. I always remember this is how it went with me one day on the Village Girl. I remember we were playing football. I was playing soccer at the beach, just having a good time. The whole time she turned her seat away from me to not watch me. Then I remember I was playing football. I kept on looking like what's going on with her. I walked over to her and I said, "What's up? Like, why are you angry? It's the beach. We're having fun." She looked me dead in the eye like this and said, "Do you want to rape me?" And I just was like, "What?" Then I remember I said, "What did you just say?" And she said, "No, no, I didn't say nothing." You know what I mean? And if I and it's funny, if I was to explain this to like maybe a collection of like people around, all she would have to do is start crying, saying, he said this and all that. Then I could deny till the cows come home, but they would always take her side. Why? Because the appearance of how she looks. Oh, how's Amber Heard gonna lie? What's she gonna lie about? She looks like this. But like I said, evil PUSSY does exist. Another story happened. This was like a year after Village Girl. This time last year, I was in the library. I was working in the library, believe it or not. Job number 298. I lost count. There was this like kind of very short Kim Kardashian wannabe. Who was so focused on the way she looked and that. And she was accompanied by this rest of the Spice Girls, the Powerpuff Girls, whatever you want to call it. While I was in the library, they wanted to make my life a living HELL, because I came in and I was like, I've got bigger plans than, where you lot are working or your little Girls Aloud group. I didn't care. And Kim Kardashian wannabe had this kind of major, like, crush on me from the beginning I walked in. Not to toot my own horn, but she did, even other people noticed and that. Because I came in and I was like, you know, I had more important things to do. What they would do is they would find ways just to contact each other to basically try to get me fired. So they would use their kind of WhatsApp group chat, which would have 6 of them in it, and they would use this kind of strategy to kind of get me out of the library because I wasn't worshipping them. I never bowed down to their nonsense. So I watched them telling lies and just like mistreating me in just some unprofessional way, and they got away with it. I ended up leaving that job, and their mission accomplished. But it became that circumstance of these girls would basically go around my back and talk to the boss, and tell like how I was such this kind of evil librarian that we need to get him fired, and it wasn't that at all. It was only because I understood that these girls would do whatever it takes. They're not, if they basically don't like a guy, they want to destroy him, and whatever happens to them, they don't care. You know what I mean? Because they're like, there's always kind of like 50 million of guys who can always do a position to bow. And there was one guy in the library. He knows who he is. He was basically doing that. He succumbed to their like, you know, he was like, what was it? He kissed their butt, and Richie Rich doesn't kiss BUT, not now, not ever. So like, yeah, man, like back onto the, the Amber Heard, yeah. So back onto the Amber Heard situation, man. It's a shame as well, to have someone who you've been with, and like, because I read Johnny Depp's GQ magazine, he said he would never ever hit someone he loved. You get what I mean? Like, everyone has their outbursts. All relationships go through their bad, good and bad. But someone he loved, he would never ever put their hands on them. For Amber Heard, just out of nowhere, just to say things. She even what she did, she had to put makeup to show areas that Johnny Depp hit her. And even Amber Heard's close friend came out and said those allegations were false. If a close friend is saying that, and Johnny Depp was saying this all the time, but you didn't believe him, but you wait for another woman to come out and say that this woman's garbage. You know what I mean? It's crazy, and I'm with Johnny Depp 100%, man, because the thing is, women take this lightly. It's not all women. You can get like the ones who are like Tatiana Ali, who are nice, or like the sister girls, who are never gonna give you Catherine Zeta-Jones, another example. Girls who are never gonna give you kind of issue and that. But when you get these fast girls who just want to kind of are not serious with long-term relationships, they just want to kind of make fun, destroy men's life and just keep the train moving, they will find ways to destroy you, and they know they can get away with it because of the way they look. There should be heavier like penalties for this. Like, Johnny Depp was even saying this, like Amber Heard should be like blacklisted for like, these false accusations, like um why is it like when you hear like like the Kevin Spacey situation? Yeah, that's true, that did happen a long time ago, but he's going to prison now for something that happened 30 years ago. The Amber Heard situation of her basic, because that's as the same as raping someone. I think to falsely accuse someone and say like they put hands on you when it never ever occurred, and you're putting this guy who has so much to lose, top number one actor, basically A-list forever. You want to kind of jeopardize his whole career, all of his work for, by saying like he did this or he threw a phone at you. She used to secretly record him while he was, Depp and Amber Heard, they were in their house together, and they're meant to be couples. And that's the situation. I see just this kind of like they talk about this whole kind of like Women's International Day. Women should get the same equal rights. I've always said that's a total amount of garbage. Because if if a guy actually commits like this horrendous act, he rapes a girl, that's bad. Obviously send that guy to the gutter, make him rot in the sewer. But for a woman to just out of nowhere just accuse this guy, and then because there's probably guys even today as I'm making this vid who are in prison because they got falsely accused, but they didn't have enough evidence, and they probably didn't act swiftly to like get this girl in her position, get this girl in prison and that, and they're paying the penalty, and that's time they can never get back. You know what I mean? So they really needs to be heavier kind of consequences for these girls lying. You know what I mean? Like I said, the village girl and that Kim K wanna be in the library. That was like only two situations that I dealt back to back in 2 years of them just 100% lying, and I can shout or I can basically tell my side of the story, but they'll just look at you saying like, why should we believe him? Oh, he looks like he would do this. You get what I mean? there's not enough backing. So like, I'm just hoping like it's now 20 years of the almost 20 years of the 20 to the noughties 2000s, like since the millennium. I'm just hoping in the next year there needs to be some kind of like if they can make an app or a system or some way that these guys can get destroyed, because like I said, guys are always going to be guys, like a heterosexual male is always going to be a person who's always going to be, in love with women. When they say beautiful women, they're always going to go to them. But what it really hurts is when like these guys start getting feelings with them and they actually want to be, their partner, and they actually like want to bond with them. And then when the woman immediately drops these feelings and wants to leave, they will try to find this any kind of fire exit to get out. Oh, he raped me. Oh yeah, he pushed me down the stairs. Oh, I saw him like kissing another woman. You know what I mean? Rather just to just come out and just say, look, I don't love you anymore. You know what I mean? Trust me, that is happened to me. So yeah, man, that's just. But I'm just glad now. It's come to the stage that like Depp was able to move on. None of that nonsense Amber Heard said hurt his career. You know what I mean? But I just say in the flip side, Amber Heard should be suffering way more. They shouldn't be offering her like Aquaman 2. You know what I mean? Or like, any other kind of big blockbuster film, they just should pay, they need to see some kind of like cancer treatment, because that should not be acceptable. Not all guys are dogs, what I mean? Not all guys are there just to, on this numbers games, like I said, R. Kelly is the worst in men. Anyone who sleep with underage girl, that's the worst of what society can bring out. But we're not all like that. And Johnny Depp's definitely not like that. It's proven. You know why he's not like that? It was proven from all the relationships he had before. You know what I mean? So it's just one of these things. I had to kind of learn the hard way. Like because I may even tell this story completely thing. Like while I was in the library and these girls were just like going so out of their way just to make it an uncomfortable experience for me. Nothing happened to them. So what did I have to do? I had to take matters into my own hands to basically say, look, this is what they did. You weren't gonna do anything until I came out and said, look, this opposing, Same thing happened with the village girl, and then she just wants to cry and say, oh, oh, you did this and did this. No. You have to sometimes go hard or go home, and I think so many guys want to go home because of the female, and I've said like you can't put PUSSY on the pedestal, man, because you'll lose. So yeah, man, that's just my like very quick thoughts about like the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation. Like I'm just happy he got out of that, because I know Depp. Depp is like he's had situations. Obviously he's been arrested twice. Even for instance, that time he got arrested in 1984, he was with Kate Moss in the hotel. He was angry and screaming in his lungs, but he still would not cross that line of like hitting a woman. And that was Kate Moss. Kate Moss, who was like the biggest supermodel on another landscape than Amber Heard. Way more beautiful, way more better than Amber Heard. And he didn't flip out then. You know, so it's just always thing like I'm glad he's still continuing. Because I'm glad he picked up. With these films like with the Black Mass film. And he's making more like these like sensible films, not like like he did a period where he went through them obscure films like Transcendence, what I mean, but Lone Ranger, but like yeah, man, let me know because this vid was definitely I didn't want to go too much on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, because I know like the main formula of it, but really in this video I just really wanted to talk about just these kind of like hot girls just accusing guys, like just making false allegations, and sometimes these guys can't do anything about it unless they want to attack back you know so like I just want to know if like any other dude out there has been involved in this situation, has been hashtag me too, what I mean, and like what did you do to get out of it, any tips you can give, like more, but yeah, man, thanks for watching this vid, and stay tuned because I will be putting more vids like this very very soon. But when that magic day arrives, I assure you, Richie Rich will be back yet again. Peace to fingers.